number 80. Thank you. Enlisted in the Navy as a medical corpsman. And typical Calvin, what assignment does he get? Bethesda Naval Hospital VIP ward. He doesn't get the soldiers and the families and the babies. He gets the generals, the admirals, the US senators, the US House of Representatives, Supreme Court Justice, Thurgood Marshall, a couple of vice presidents, Gerald Ford, Hubert Humphrey, Barry Goldwater. That's Calvin. That's Calvin as we know him. But during his Franklin University time, he part-timed in the summer at City National Bank, got the flavor when he left the Navy after 2 years, although he stayed another 24 in Naval Reserves. He took a job in Circleville where an uncle was president of the bank and said, Calvin, come work for us. He did. 40 years there, 25 years as president. As a proud proud father of 2 older daughters, he had the pleasure of his daughters working for him in the summer and on weekends, which was a fabulous experience, I'm sure. It didn't work for me. But with that retirement, which didn't last in 2010, took a position as a lead commercial lender for Heartland Bank, and then subsequently where he is today, First Citizens National Bank hired him as their regional president. But here's the real story for us. What is Calvin like? Well, he's got 3 Achilles heels. He loves ice cream. He loves Hilton Head, and he really loves Rotary. He was president of the Circleville Sunshine AM Morning Club. In 2010, became our district governor, District 6690, 2010 and 11. And where is he today? Let's see, our Rotarian of the Year, Calvin Gephardt.
Well, that's, thank you. That was humbling, wasn't it?
There's bottles back here, Calvin.
I could use a drink. Anyhow, I have the opportunity to share with you Paige Bornbrook. Paige identifies himself as a traveling nomad. His father was a career Air Force officer. He was comptroller of the Pacific, dean of the War College, commandant of the Montgomery, Alabama, and also commandant of the ROTC, Oxford, Ohio. Have you ever thought about Paige's first name, that it's not like a Fred, a George, or a Bob, or a Bill, but Paige attended 2 middle schools, 4 high schools. While stationed in Madrid, Spain, and Europe, Paige played his high school basketball championship game in Rome, Italy, in the famous Olympic Coliseum. Much to Paige's surprise, the spaghetti in Italy was not the same as his mother's spaghetti. Paige attended 3 colleges, Westminster College in Fulton, Missouri, the famous University of Alabama, something how somebody always says, roll tide. Can't imagine where that comes from. Then he transferred to the Miami University of Ohio, where he received his BS degree. Paige's junior year in college, he met the most beautiful woman at Miami University, Cheryl. And this past August, they celebrated 50 years of marriage. On graduation that morning at Miami University, on that famous day, Paige and Cheryl were married that same afternoon, and were off to Vermilion, Ohio, to be the world famous teachers in Vermilion. Paige was active in the community and spent 6 years in the famous softball league in northeastern Ohio, which is actually the softball capital of the USA. Did not know that, but maybe you did. Paige played first base, then he played in the championship game at the Rose Park in Cleveland. Paige has had a successful career and was awarded the CJC Award for Young Man of the Year, one of many accolades that Paige has received over the years, such as Paige's an Eagle Scout, 12th recipient of the Hall of Fame Home Builders Association. Recognition for his community involvement in Dublin's Emerald Ball. He served the Dublin School, served Dublin Methodist Hospital. Cheryl and Paige were the Grand Marshal 2015 Independence Day representatives, a true honor, and past president of the chamber. Paige and Cheryl have 2 daughters and 3 grandchildren. In 1976, family medical issues brought Cheryl and Paige back to Columbus so that they could be closer to family in London. On their return, Paige decided to take his turn at the business world and became a famous professional businessman. He secured a job with Smith Corona and then moved on to State Savings, where he flourished as a famous banker. Paige worked with the State Savings for 22 years as an executive officer. At that juncture, Paige and a business associate started their own bank, Prospect Bank in Worthington. In 2014, Paige semi-retired from banking, but is still actively involved in the business world today. Paige has been a Rotarian since 1995 and identifies himself as a jock through high school and his 6 years at Vermillion. So think, the name Paige. Paige's name comes from his great-great-grandparents from Wilford, Virginia. Carter Page family. An item of interest. Additionally, Carter Page family donated ground for their plantation to William and Mary's College in Williamsburg, as you know it today. Additionally, Page's father's mother founded the LPGA at about that time. Any successful person always has a managed routine to be a success. Paige has 4 items check-off routine that he does each and every morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I consider Paige Warnbrock my friend, and he's an excellent individual. So Paige.
I learned something.
What a touching number. You guys did a phenomenal job. Thank you for that really touching introduction of each other today. Susan Robinette is back from all of her alcohol facilitation for our Polio club. So Susan's back from the things that she's been doing to help us with the Polio 125 Club and is our sergeant at arms today. Susan?
Yay! All right, before we get started, I just want to thank all the shoppers who have signed up already to help me shop for the adopted family. What we're going to do with this is, as soon as I get all the shoppers together, I'm going to email them their lists of people that they're shopping for, along with a tax exempt form, along with either I'm going to Venmo money or I'm going to get money to each individual, and then you're off and running and shopping. So I want to thank you all who signed up already. If you would like to continue to help with shopping, just email me and let me know. The more shoppers, the merrier. So we're just going to have fun and we're going to get it all done early so we don't miss out on any of the great items that these kids want. So thank you very much. Second announcement I have is the holiday party is December the 2nd here. And just make sure that you save the date for that, and the invitation will be coming soon. So I'd like to recognize Monica here today because she's a very, very special person. Not only is she here for letting us hear her story about having polio, but she's gotten to be a really good friend of Linda's. So it's really nice that Linda was able to connect. So I just want to welcome you here personally and say thank you for all that you are doing. Other guests that we have today is Tom Clemens, our wonderful assistant district governor. We have some other guests. Aziz, would you like to stand? Aziz. And Steve, would you like to stand up too? Steve already put in his money for
Great segue. Yeah, well, who would like to duck Stephen Garrett? Did I get it right? All right.
I didn't know we were inducting him.
You actually remember.
Wow.
I know right now. So.
Oh.
I wanna say
Welcome.
congratulations. He actually came from us, the Dublin Education Foundation. So Stephen, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
Come on up here.
Move up front.
Lori, Mike, move up.
And this way, the.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
So thanks, everybody. I'm excited to be a member. Jean and I had talked before. I wanted to get more involved in the Dublin community. I have been involved in the school districts for many years and wanted to broaden my horizons. So Jean and I talked, and that's why I'm joining. So thank you so much for allowing me to join this wonderful group. I have been, like I said, involved in the schools for many years. I'm currently president of the Dublin Education Foundation. I'm also a member of the Italian Men's Club, the Piave Group, and you don't know what that is. We kind of organize the Italian festival downtown. My daughter's a senior at Ohio Dominican, going for special education and counseling. And I work at Chase. I'm the vice president of the correspondent group, and I manage all the correspondent areas. And what that is just as a reference, is if you open a mortgage and then you get a letter that says, oh, somebody just bought your loan, that's what I do. Our area buys back the mortgage loans. So, but I'm again thankful for being able to be a new member here and looking forward to all the exciting things.
Welcome. Another guest we have today is Lisa Travis.
Yay, Lisa.
Lisa, welcome. She met Cap, and so Cap can't be here right now, but she came anyway, and we'd love to have you come back every week, so thank you. And then I think that's all of our guests. So, small pot today. Does anybody? Oh. MJ, you know what? You didn't say
I didn't
it.
write my name down.
No,
I
you
did
didn't.
not.
But
No, I snuck right in.
we welcome you again. It's been so much fun to have you here so many times, so thank you for coming. How many happy bucks today? Gene.
So I'm happy to report that I completed the half marathon last weekend and I beat my goal pace by 39 seconds.
Yeah, a dollar, right? Ken.
I'd like to share that my daughter got married 3 weeks ago on Sunday. So I have a son-in-law.
Wow, wow. Collecting for me? Can you collect my basket? There's a basket. Huh? Oh,
Yeah.
here.
Susan,
Yes,
we have a happy buck over here,
yes.
Mr. Quiet.
She intentionally ignored me.
I did not. I was getting ready to call you.
Defying the odds against anybody's expectations. Chris and I actually celebrated 50 years. In August.
Well, congratulations. Gee.
Today is October 22nd, which doesn't mean much to most people, but 33 years ago, my wife and I went on our first date on October 22nd, and now we've been married 29 years, but every year on October 22nd, we go back to the restaurant we went to on our first date, which was Chili's. Luckily, those are everywhere. If you want to know where we'll be tonight, it's Chili's, which we only go to this once every year.
All right, today our small pot is going to be $20. And when we draw the ticket, Monica, I'm going to have you do our special opportunity to draw tickets. You're going to either have a choice for the small pot of 20 or go for the large pot, which today is $400. So all you need to do is to pull one ticket out of here. And then I can see it. She's gonna keep it. I'll give it back to you. Like, watch.
is 3369-204.
204, okay. Jim, do you want the large pot or the small pot? What's that? Veterans, okay. Okay.
3369193.
193 for the large pot. All right. All right, we got it. We're going to see if we got to have a winner. We're drawing today for the 10 of clubs. And I thank you all for all your support of everything you do.
And since I skipped right over the announcements, let me just check. Do we have any, besides welcoming Steve, do we have any other announcements yet today? One more, Claudia?
Good morning. I just want to encourage anybody that's interested in our world and taking care of our world to join the environmental committee. We're looking at projects here locally as well as anything that we can help and support internationally. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. We'll be meeting here in about another 2 weeks for our first meeting. So it gives you time to look at your calendar and say, you know what, the world matters.
Thanks. All right, very good. Let's go ahead and start with our first program. Our program leader today is Jean Oliver, and Steve Schmidt wanted to make sure and express that he couldn't be here today, but Jean, he's very, very proud of everything that you've done, and specifically the video introduction that you accomplished. So if you'll please take us through the program.
Okay.
Yeah, Jean.
Hey, good morning. So each year the club sponsors scholarships. This year they did a total of $3,000. Happy to say we were able to award that $3,000 across 5 different students from each of the 3 high schools.
Can you talk louder?
I feel like I'm yelling, but I'll do my
The
best.
mic doesn't seem to be working.
Is this my?
Oh, there we go. Maybe for you.
I don't like feeling like I'm yelling, so I'll do this. So we did a total of 5 scholarships for students from all 3 high schools. Because of the COVID restrictions that the schools had during the award ceremonies, they weren't having anyone come in from outside other than the students and the parents. So I thought it was appropriate probably to not invite them here. And so in lieu of that, we have a short video presentation where they will talk about their career aspirations and their goals for where they're going to school and everything. So with that, I will start the video. Share the screen, right? So life is a beautiful thing. For this year, we're planning to award $6,000 in scholarships. So thank you for your attention. I know we're very short on time, so we may not have time for questions, but if you do have any, please let me know.
Jean, I must say, this is the first year I got a chance to work with you on judging. And I am amazed and impressed at all the logistics you have to deal with for all the different applications, the kids, the counselors. Thank you for all you do for us and for these young people.
You're welcome. And you're the rookie of the year for judging.
I am the rookie of the year. Linda, if you and Monica wouldn't mind turning around and facing the group. And we might have to see if this microphone, depending on the noise level, the microphone is going to be able to reach over to you. But let me just say that for our World Polio Day, we are very honored. Monica joined us a couple weeks ago and kicked off our World Polio Day and our 125 Club Initiative. So we're very, very honored to have Monica in an interview style with Linda today, talking a little bit about what happens after the polio, the post-polio syndrome. And also, thank you very, very much, MJ and Tom. I appreciate you being here. Susan's going to help us hand out the vodka afterwards. Tom's going to have our 125 club pins, and we're going to do our raffle for the bourbon yet at the close of the talk in a few minutes here. Monica, do you want to try and see if this reaches you here? Okay, Linda.
I'm going to really be brief in my introduction because I know we don't have a lot of time. But I just want to say I was kind of researching polio, and I found Monica online because she is involved in the Ohio Polio Network. I didn't even know we had one. I called her. She was so gracious. We talked, we met for lunch, we became best buddies. And she is very proud to say that she was a polio survivor, and she's 83 years old. And she's proud to say that. She grew up in Orville. When she was 13 years old, she was paralyzed, totally paralyzed. She got polio. They told her she'd never walk again. She was in Akron Children's Hospital for 3.5 months, correct? 3.5 months. Went home and for a year was doing physical therapy. And look at her now. I mean, a polio survivor. I found out right now there's 300,000 individuals in the United States that are polio survivors. But people don't talk about post-polio syndrome. I mean, they still have issues. Doctors don't know a lot about it. They don't necessarily recognize it. So that's the thing. Monica's main focus is getting out to you that since you had polio, but you're still walking around now, there's other things that she has to deal with. So basically, do you want to start talking to them about that? Oh, also, she went to the Ohio State University and she was a dental hygienist for many years. And she works for an organization helping hands and has done mission trips everywhere, Russia, China, I mean, she's been like all over the world. So she's a pretty incredible lady. So I'd like to give her some time to talk.
Thank you. I think that's the key to keep going, is being involved in things, involved in other people's lives, helping others. So when they said you will never walk again, I thought, I don't believe that report. And so I've just always had a lot of energy. And I have abilities, mainly art and that kind of sewing. That's what I do now. I do OSU things, sell in shops. But my dad thought I'd never make money in dental hygiene, in sewing and teaching. So I became a hygienist for 48 years to clean teeth. That was back in the day where we didn't do all the fancy detailing, but it allowed me to do mission trips. Clean teeth in China and Russia. I have sons that have been missionaries for all these years too. So that allowed me to travel. And so keeping going, I lead the Compass Polio group, but nobody is good enough, healthy enough to be able to attend. thankfully, thank the Lord, that I am able to, I just ordered a scooter because I can't walk now so far. And the right side of me is not working, but I still do quite well with the good side that I have. And that's how we need to live our lives. Use what God has put in us and continue to work, continue to be involved so that we are a blessing to other people. And I think that's what's kept me going. It gives me such energy. So I have this thing, my son says, Mom, you're incredible. You just keep going. So like energized, funny. I do get tired. So post-polio is important because I'm an advocate for that. I went to see Dr. Pease, a PMNR doctor, physical medicine and rehabilitation. He's the only one around. And we have trouble finding doctors that will even accept that we have post-polio. That's our biggest concern. Therefore, they want to just do surgery on it. There were all 5 of us in our family that had polio. I'm the only one that had paralytic, only about 10% being paralyzed. But my siblings are all now having issues. They didn't want to recognize it at first. So when my sister, 5 years younger than me, started having more hip trouble after having a hip replaced, the doctor said, no, you don't need another one, but I don't know what's wrong with you. So finally she submitted it and she came to Dr. Pease just recently. And I gave her one of my walkers, but it takes a bit to recognize. First of all, you feel like you're old. You have to use a walker. So she just hasn't done it. She's carried it in her car, suffers through. Last weekend going to a flea market, but anyhow, we all have to do things when we feel it's time. And I'm proactively right. And I decided about 10 years ago, I'm having trouble holding up. And so I started using the walker. I'm not embarrassed over that. It opened up the door for me to encourage others, because other people that are struggling will come and say, oh, you're using a walker. So we have to use opportunities we have to reach other people. So my message to you is recognize for us, there is post-polio, and we need more doctors that want to recognize it and give us treatment.
Monica, can you share with us the information?
Yeah, that information is kind of a brief thing. In fact, we have a Ohio Board Polio meeting on Zoom today, and all of us in different groups at 1 o'clock. And our problem is we don't have doctors that we really can refer to. So that's a big thing. I had a man from the Dayton group call me and said, do you know of anybody? But there's very few around, and unfortunately, they just want to do surgery on you.
So Monica's dad was in Rotary.
Yes,
too.
he was.
And, so we just, I guess, would like to know, what would you, now that, unbelievably, pretty much polio has been eradicated, but obviously there's still post-polio and there still is some. What would be the message? What would you like maybe Rotary to, because we're going to continue to be obviously involved in polio.
Yeah. Well, March of Dimes supported polio so many years, and now they're into other issues. So I always get to that. I help my family a lot, but so I just say to them, recognize there is still that problem, so that if you meet anybody that's post-polio or hear anything about it, you can stand up for them. Now the Heritage College, I'm part of OSU, osteopathic doctors, they reached out to me and they wanted their students to know that there is such a thing. And OSU's medical school has done the same. So I got a call several years ago, and I'm a standardized patient, mostly on the movement study, but I've done others. It's kind of like acting. They give somebody at a certain age. So it's kind of fun. So, I like to put the word out that yes, there is help. And having a positive attitude, that's why I like having meetings, but people just are having a hard time. Thankfully, I'm still going.
We don't have a whole lot of time. Anybody have any quick questions?
Are you going to the Circleville Pumpkin Show today?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Are you going to the Circleville Pumpkin Show?
No, I'm not. I'm hosting. I work friendships on ISD campus and hosting a pumpkin carving parties with all for 12 Indian students.
I used to live in Carl. Yeah, just above Warville. Is that where you're from?
Oh, I don't know that.
Oh, yes, you do. It's right over the road.
I guess since I'm 83, I'm not remembering. Carrollton?
Carl.
Charlton. I've heard that name, but I didn't, yeah, we didn't play that in football, I guess.
No.
So that's why I know.
Very good. Any other questions for Monica?
It's so kind to be here and spread the information. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Monica's made a big effort to be at our meetings, first as a guest and now as a speaker. And Monica, if you don't mind, we have had a very successful campaign for the 125 Club. And one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to recognize folks. And I'd like to be pointing two names out here. Two names. The first one's going to be for the Jamesons, and the second one's going to be for the Gordons for the bottom. Yeah.
Where's that one?
Yeah. Is that your first one or your second?
This is my second one. My first one is Calvin.
All right. So from a gentleman from Northern Ohio, we have Jameson's Whiskey. Calvin, thank you very much. Jameson's at the end of the meeting. If you come up and take that, that's yours. Congratulations.
Party out.
Yes. And our bourbon winner, drum roll please, is John Susie. So thank you all again for a very, very successful 125 Club. And Monica, thank you for being here. Jean, tremendously successful program that you've been running with the scholarships. We will give our quote for the day, and then we will also, please feel free to come up here, get your 125 Club pin from Tom and from MJ. And please, we have from the candle people, we have 2 of the 6 candles. So if you're one of the candle recipients, come on up and check your name off with me on that. So the first one is a quote from Margaret Mead saying, "Children must be taught how to think, not what to think." Our second quote of the day is from Jonas Salk. "Hope lies in dreams, in imagination, and in the courage for those who dare to dream and bring it into reality." Thank you very much for a great meeting today. All right.
So everyone that participated in the 125 Club, please come up and get your pen. Be ready.
Yep. Do they know?
They know who they are?
Congratulations.
Yes. Excellent. Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right. Thanks, Jean. Thanks for